All right, so I'm going to be recording. Welcome everyone. This is all about the internet today. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Trish Pye. I know you all do now, and congratulations and well done on getting here today. Just want to go around the room, starting with you, Charlie, on whether or not anything that you learnt from last week stuck in your mind, or that you actually sort of can benefit from that now.
Oh, it was just good to understand the different, like ADSL and the Wi-Fi and how the different systems work.
Yep.
Yep.
Good, because it's very important, isn't it?
Yeah, well, when you don't know exactly what's what or who's who in a zoo, yeah, it makes it a bit clearer.
Yeah. Good, thank you. Okay, Kylie. You've been very busy on Facebook.
Pardon?
You've been very busy on Facebook.
I have, and now I know not to copy and paste, which was very interesting. Yes.
Yeah, well, can I just go a little bit further on that? I actually have had that many people do it. I had to do a live stream post and put it up on my page because so many people were doing it.
Yeah.
And people that I trained in it the day before were still doing it. And I just said, what's going on? You know, because there was one that was going out. So be aware of this one in particular. It's about school. It's about Zoom. It's about people getting online. But then at the bottom it says, don't harass the teachers. If you support them, copy and paste this into your newsfeed. No, we don't do that. It's bad. Okay, thanks, Kylie. That's very important. Leanne.
Yeah, I was good on the copy and pasting too. Lainey sent me something, and she said, "I'll just copy and paste it." I went, "No, you're not allowed to do that anymore."
Into where?
I'm not doing it. In Instagram it was. I still wouldn't do it to that. Good.
Until you are really clear and very comfortable on how to drive these things, I wouldn't do it. If you're in a Microsoft Word document and you wanting to copy a heading from here down to here, but on the internet, no, not good, especially in Facebook. Yeah. Okay, thanks, Lynn. Lynn.
Me?
Lynn.
Oh, okay, yes. Yeah, I'm agreeing with what other people were saying. I mean, I didn't really ever do the copy and paste. Sometimes you're pressured, or just hold your finger down and, all that sort of thing. But, yeah, I realised that it's not safe. And, yeah, you're very good at explaining things from the grassroots, because none of that makes any sense to most of us. You just go above it, you know, because there's all the little acronyms for everything.
Yeah. Okay, no, good. Thank you. That's good. All right, Jason.
Yeah, I think the deleting the cookies was a good heads up, and putting space on your computer and understanding that things running in the background can slow your computer down and bubbles, things like that.
Yeah, exactly. So, and they build up over along those temporary files called cookies, build up over a period of time. They can, enable your computer to be infiltrated by someone else, or hacked, as they say, but also it slows your computer down. Okay, good. Thank you, Jason. Tammy.
Yeah.
To learn. Have you been able to implement anything into your learning?
No, probably the copy and paste. I was good at doing that.
All right, I'm going to just grab. Thanks for sharing. I'm going to invite.
You're welcome.
I just need to actually invite Gay into this meeting.
Oh, she's late. She's later than me.
No, she's actually emailed me. And this is, I guess, again, a really, really awesome thing about Zoom. So if you just give me 2 seconds, I can actually email her very quickly and just say, hey, join us here. And send her the link. At her email address, which I'll just find out what that is. And then hopefully really fast, Done. So how long did that take me?
About a minute.
So there we go. In 1 minute, I've been able to send her an email. Now I'm just going to actually send her a response to hers as well. And in that regards, I can very, very quickly done. So if she manages to join us, that is awesome. So just coming back to you guys now. There you are.
Thank you, Hefner.
Awesome. So we can do these things very, very quickly. What I could have done is turn the recording off, but I wanted to leave it on so you can actually see, if you want to go back and look at this, how quickly we can bring people back in. After today, when you want to come back in, this system will remind you. Okay. From that too, I'll actually send the YouTube link so that you can actually just have a look at it anytime you like. So, okay. What I'd like to do is catch up with Megan, and Megan, if you can tell me too about what you've been doing over the last week, whether anything stood out last week which you've been able to implement now.
Not a great deal. I felt I was a bit behind because of being on the iPhone. I couldn't understand the cookies theory. What I have taken away though is the copy and paste business. But the other thing that I did, which you showed us how to do last week, I think it's called the taskbar up the top that has all your open things in it.
Yep.
Well, I had like about 7,000 of them because I've never done that.
Okay, good. So you did learn something.
Yeah,
right.
That's about the only thing though that I've actually been able to put into practice. The other thing was, you know, like I said, the copy and paste business. And I did get that email or wherever it came from, that thing about Zoom. Good. That you were just talking about before, which I just ignored.
Okay. So today we're actually going to concentrate on your Apple. So I've got mine up, geared up.
Yeah.
Ready.
No, you said that last week that we would get onto that.
Yeah.
Yep.
So for now, we'll just work on what we're doing today won't really affect any particular different device, but I am going to explain why. So what I'm going to do now is actually switch my screen over and share that with you. And we're going to go to this one. Hi, Gay.
Hi. I didn't get any emails or nothing.
Okay. How did you get in?
I just got that link that you just sent me.
Okay.
I haven't got anything else.
No, it's the same link from last time. We used the same same link.
It says waiting. Let me join.
Ooh.
I don't know.
And this one did.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So I'm going to talk to you just quickly. In the last week, anything that we did last week, did it stick in your mind, or have you learned something from it, or how have you benefited in any way?
Oh, well, I don't know. I don't know. Clearly it didn't work if I couldn't get in.
No, look, I would say probably 2-3 times before we really get this. Now, we do have a solution. Next session, what I will do is send you a calendar invite. And this is something that you will also be learning throughout the duration, because administration skills for everybody now is a must. In any job role, in any day-to-day task, we need to know how to manage the devices. We need to know how to manage our day-to-day. We need to know how to manage our emails, etc., etc. So it's very, very important that going forward, we are now aware or learning what the actual equipment can do. Now, I have muted everybody. If you do want to speak, you can ask me a question. But before you do, you'll need to unmute yourself. The reason I've muted you all, I've put you on silent, is so that we don't get the background noise that's happening there. And it's just better for when we're recording it. So if you do want to ask a question, just unmute yourself. I'll see that and ask away as we go. So for now, I'm going to share my screen with you. And today we're focusing on the internet and a lot of the really great stuff that the internet can offer us. This could just take a moment to come through, or it might take depending on the internet. All right, so now you should be able to see my screen. Can everyone see it? Give me a thumbs up if you can. Excellent. And we're looking at the computer screen. So what I'll do is I'll run through a PowerPoint presentation. If you've got any questions, unmute yourself and ask. But I want to really cover off very, very much like those 4 things that we learned about last week. So we've got the username, the email address, password, passcodes, those things. There are other things about what we're doing on the internet that we really need to be aware of before moving forward, just to keep you safe. The other thing we need to know is obviously the difference between whether or not you're using our beautiful smartphone or a tablet or a desktop. So there are some differences. So I'll go through those when using the internet today. All right. So, like I said, we'll be looking at different devices. So this here at the left-hand side is what type of computer? Can anyone tell me? Unmute yourself first. No
Is it the Microsoft Surface Pro?
Yeah, you know what that is?
An iPad.
It's called a Microsoft Surface Pro.
Oh.
And it is basically a smaller version of a desktop computer. This one here is a high-powered, and this is the one I'm actually using today, a high-powered tablet, but it is as effective and it uses exactly the same functions as a desktop computer. What about this one over here at the right? This one here.
That'd be my Bible.
That's your Bible. Tell me, Leanne, about your Bible. What is it and what can it do?
That's your
My
iPad.
tool to shop.
On each, of course. All right. So yeah, it is an iPad, and you can see there that this one, even though they're quite similar devices, have a look at all the little pictures on it and tell me if they look similar or different.
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 Right. Okay. So remember that you've only got the 2 types of computer systems now. So you've got the PC type, which in a phone way is called an Android. And then you've got the Apple type, which is Apple, Apple, Apple. There's nothing else. So if you're using this, whether or not you're using a desktop computer, a tablet, or a phone, they are similar. This one here is owned by Microsoft, which is based on the desktop, which is owned by somebody else, which runs under the Android. So literally you've got 3 different brands. If you're in a business and you're working for someone like council, what you've got there is very similar to the tablets that they're using in the workplace. But also when we look at the Android, they talk to each other. When I say talk to each other, and this is why some of you are having difficulties with trying to be able to do exactly what I'm doing, because your device is an Apple and mine isn't. So that's why we need to clarify the differences between the 2. So if you're using an Apple, who can tell me if an Apple is compatible with an Android?
No.
No.
Absolutely not. However, if I've got an email on an Android, can I open those emails on an Apple?
Yes.
Yes, you can. What makes that possible?
Because, I don't know, it's an email.
Because you dial into your email?
How?
Yeah, the internet provides us a
Through
link.
your...
Who said that? Jason?
Yes.
It's the internet. Okay. So let's just say today I speak English and you speak French. Okay, so English is Android, French is Apple. They do not talk the same language. What do we need, Jason, to make those work together?
Party. Yeah, or a link.
You said it already. The
internet. The internet.
So by all of us being on, and we're all doing it without even knowing it, we're all using the internet to be able to talk to each other. So at the moment, some of you are on Apples and some of you are on Androids or PCs. So it's the internet that enables us to all come together in this place called cyberspace, which doesn't actually exist, I'll explain that later, to all connect online. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yep.
Excellent. So from here, I'm going to just move forward onto another one. Another thing that makes us completely compatible and consistent is a phone. So when you've got your phone, you can access from anywhere. And it's the phone and the internet using the phone that makes that happen. So literally your phone gives you mobility, but it's because of the internet that makes it possible. Back in the olden days, we had phones, but we couldn't access emails from it. Those phones in today's terms are called dumb phones. Okay, so in my hand, what do I have here?
Smartphone.
Right. What's the difference between a smartphone and a dumb phone?
The internet.
And apps. So the way that we actually connect is via those apps. So without the internet, your mobile or your smartphone would not be able to independently access your emails and the internet, do cooking, watch cooking classes, learn how to play the guitar, all that sort of stuff. So it's the internet that makes that possible. Does anyone have any questions? Clear as mud?
Crystal.
Awesome. I love it. All right. So your smartphone is smart. And the reason it's smart is because it's connected to the internet all the time. And it uses your data or your actual amount of money. Okay, let's look at money, your data as money. And when you look at it as money, the more money you have stored in your smartphone, called data, the more stuff you can have going on. For example, watching Netflix, buying stuff on eBay, surfing the internet, as they say. So the more data you have, the more you can do. Is anybody on a 60 gigabyte plan?
Anyone on a what?
60 gigabyte plan on your smartphone, do you know?
No.
How much data do you have?
30 gigabyte.
Okay. In movie sense, if you had 30 gigabytes of data, how many movies would you be able to watch on your phone?
I don't watch movies on my phone. I don't know.
Does anybody know?
No.
Yeah, not much.
Is it important to be able to understand this?
Oh, yeah, big time.
Rightio. Let's just put it this way. 1 gigabyte in size, on average, is 1 movie. So answer that question now, Jason. You've got 30 gigabytes. How many movies can you watch?
30.
Okay, so you can watch nearly 1 movie a day for an entire month before you will run out of space, run out of data. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Or you can read on your phone 30,000 books.
Jesus.
Okay, that's a lot, isn't it, with 30 gigabytes?
Yeah.
Think of 1 gigabyte as 1 movie or 1,000 books. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, that's the simplest way to explain space, obviously, or data space. The more data you've got, the more stuff you can do. So if you've got 30 gigabytes of data, you can pretty much surf the internet to your heart's content. Now, on mine, I only have 15. I've just reduced the amount of data on my phone when I got the new one. Why did I do that?
Did you not
Save yourself money.
So you don't watch movies all day?
No, I don't. And we've got unlimited at home, so I don't need to be watching. I don't want to watch movies on my phone unless I'm away.
You did that to cut the cost down.
I cut the cost down, that's good. But I was only using every month probably around about 5 or 6. So I've now got 15 rather than 30. So, but the thing that you need to be aware of when you're buying a new device or something for home, you need to look at what you want to use it for. So if you're going to go out and buy a new smartphone, we've got people who start on 1 gigabyte of data. Those people will never go over that because they're never going to watch movies on there. All right, these are older students who all they really want to be able to do is use their smartphone to 1, call their family, and 2, send an email. So that's pretty much it. 1 gigabyte of data per month is enough for them. That's not, it doesn't sound a lot, does it?
What happens if you just looked at Facebook a lot and Instagram a lot? How do you judge how much data you need?
If you're on Facebook and you're on Instagram, they're very high graphics and videos. As soon as you start looking at big pictures and videos, think of a video as moving pictures, and that's exactly what they are. The more moving pictures you've got happening every minute, the more space that's taking up. So if you're on Instagram, Instagram is very heavily graphical or pictures. So you do start to use more or chew up more data as we go. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I think it's essential that you really do need to know that, and not a lot of people do. They don't look at data as what you can actually do. Back in the olden days, we used to watch a video. Now we don't. What do we do with it?
Stream it.
We stream. See how the terminology has changed. What's the difference between watching a movie and streaming a movie?
Because you're downloading it when you're streaming it?
No, you're not downloading it. You're just watching it. Okay. So back in the olden days, if you were going to watch a movie, you would have to download it. That means taking that and all of its cookies and all of its information and all of that data down to your computer. That can take time. Whereas now when you're streaming it, what I want you to understand about what you're doing on your phone is it's live. It's happening now, exactly like we are. All right? So we're not sitting in a classroom and watching something that's pre-recorded, and a lot of online training is like that. What we're doing is actually live streaming our classroom.
Yeah.
Right? So we're actually, the difference between the way that I teach and the other providers, if you're doing online lessons, you're literally going to their website and you're downloading information so that you can then sit there and watch a video. But whenever you're watching that, you're downloading all the time. Whereas what we're doing now is 100% live. It's live. It's happening, and it's called real time. Have you heard that before?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. So what we're doing here is live, virtual training in real time. See all the terms that have come about because of what we can now do and what we're capable of. But what I'd like to just point out is that this is not new. I've been doing this for 15 years through using various online training tools. What tool are we using?
Zoom.
Zoom, good. So Zoom I love. I think out of all the ones that I've used over the last 15 years, I started on Skype, if you've heard of that. Back in the olden days, we used Skype. So yeah, it's evolved a lot. I don't use Skype anymore. I find it clunky. Whereas I use Zoom because it's easy and you can get in with one simple link. Okay, so very easy. You don't have to have an account with Zoom. Sorry, with Skype you do. So this is the simplest way, after all the research that I've done over the last 15 years, to get clients in, particularly those learning these basic digital skills. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Cool. Any questions?
No.
Okay, so we spoke about connections last week. What are the 3 different connections that we use?
ADSL.
Yeah, Wi-Fi.
Good. And
Broadband.
broadband, called.
ADSL.
NBN.
So yes, so ADSN and NBN are both broadband. Okay, so ADSL is the older, clunky version of this new NBN, but they basically both use the same system. They use telephone wires, and those telephone wires go under the ground to connect us up. How do we get from one country to another? How do we make a phone call or send information from Australia over to New Zealand?
Internet again.
Fibre.
Pardon?
Optical fibre.
Optical fibre. And where is it, Charlie?
On the bottom of the ocean.
You're good. Would you like me to show you?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just exiting this for a moment, and I'm going to swap over and go to another one that I created earlier so that we can have a look. So ADSL is the old telephone system, the copper cables that go under the ground. NBN is a new version of copper cables that still go under the ground, but they're electronic. The way that we link from one country to another, just like we would if we had, back in the olden days, the two cups, all right? So we've got cup A and cup B and a string, like we used to play as kids. Could you hear each other?
Yes.
The system is developed on that, exactly the same way. So you've got phone A, phone B, and a cable, just like a piece of string, connecting the two places all over Australia. It still works the same way. Once we connect from Australia over to New Zealand, it's no different. It's exactly the same. Have you ever seen cruising around the ocean, the cable laying ships?
Yeah.
Those ships have got big reels on the back of them, and the reels are actually laying cable to connect one country to another country. So there are literally hundreds of billions of kilometres of phone cable under the ocean. Do you believe me?
Yes.
Yep.
Thank you.
What, do they actually put it under the dirt or just lay it on the bottom of the ocean?
They just lay it. Yeah, they just lay it under the ocean. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh.
No, it's pretty intense, isn't it?
Mm.
Okay, so I need to go to, where are you, internet? I'll hop out of this one. Okay, so there we go. I'll do that share again. And we'll go to here and share. All right, what can you see now?
Your screen.
Green.
All right, can you? One little circle spinning around there, and that just means that it's taking its time to load.
There's actually signs on shore that show you where the cables enter the sea.
We were offering.
Just a second,
One of the really
Charlie.
great things about Google Ads is you don't have to be a
Just an
marketing
ad.
expert. It's just
Gonna
so
give
easy.
us this. So this is one I prepared earlier.
Since we started using Google Ads.
Skip that. Now, it might be broken up a little bit because it's telling me that the connection is a little bit unstable. But, sorry, Charlie. What did you say?
Sorry?
Did you ask a question or did you say
No,
something?
I was just saying there's actually signs on shore that show you where the cables enter into the ocean.
Yeah, if you're at Surfside and you go to the beach bar at the top, and you'll actually go over to Long Beach, you can see the cable that goes under the creek there.
Yeah.
Yeah, link up Long Beach with Bateman's Bay. All right, I'm going to ask you all to mute yourself. Just mute yourself for a second. And I'm going to play a video. If you can't hear it, could somebody please, Kylie, can you let me know? What do you think?
Amazing, isn't it?
I used to have, seriously, a photo of that. The video now is a new one, which I've just found as a resource. And I think, well, you know, wow, it just shows everything, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So this is what I mean. The internet's changing all the time. We're using now the majority of the time video as an explainer. And do you take videos of your kids?
Yep.
Yeah.
And they're there rather than photos. Do you prefer to do videos?
No.
More of the video. Yeah, and that's why we need to have more data. So when we're looking at a video like that I've just put up for you to see, that's using my data. So like I said, I'm on unlimited here. It doesn't matter. I can watch video 24/7 if I like. I'm going to have very, very square eyes. But everything now is video based, video learning. We like to record memories that way. So, you know, it's really good. Does anyone have any questions about that? No, you just think it's good?
Yeah.
All right. For the moment, I'm going to go back to my PowerPoint presentation. It'll just take a second to get there. This is so much more fun than just a simple PowerPoint presentation, isn't it? I love technology. Can you tell?
Yeah.
No brainer.
Most of us don't love it. Can you tell?
Yeah,
True.
I've had many people say to me over the years, I'm never going to learn this. I don't want to do it. Once you find out what you do for yourself, it becomes a, oh, okay, if I can do this on this or that on that, you start to think, okay, I can do this. And I guess it's just being open to learning. But once you find out all the things or the great things that you can do, it's incredible. just going over those connections, ADSL is here. So that literally is a normal computer that is connected to the phone line. You can see, I'll just do that again so you can actually see my little laser pointer. So a normal computer connected to a phone line. So you can see that phone line through there. Yeah. And then this little baby here is called a modem. Have you heard that before?
Yep.
What's the purpose of a modem?
To run your internet.
Right. What it does, remember I spoke to you before about being French and English. So when you type something here on the computer, let's just say that's in English, you type it up, it has to go from the computer through to the modem, and the modem will change it over into telephone wire language, let's say French. It's transferred along the telephone line in French, or what we call phone language, as opposed to computer language. So computer language is English, phone language is French. What do we need? What do we need to do?
It's like a transformer.
It is. It's actually an interpreter.
Yeah.
And modem, get this is going back 30 years. Modem stands for modulate, demodulate. That means to change. So it's changing from computer language to phone language. And then when it reaches your computer, it changes it back from phone language to computer language. Does that make sense?
Yes.
In your house, if you've got NBN, you will also have one of these, but it's a little bit more technical. It's called a router. And what it does, enables you to connect wirelessly around the house. Now with that, we need NBN. Okay, so that's where the NBN benefits you, because with NBN and good quality ADSL, you can have other devices connected all around the house. So the NBN is the same system as ADSL, but it's electronic, so it's faster. So when you look at a router or a modem, they're translators between computer language and telephone wire language. Does anybody know the difference between telephone wire language and computer language? Do you know the technical real names for them?
No.
No.
All right, your phone line is called analog. Have you heard that before?
Yep.
And your computer is electronic language, which is called?
Android.
Digital.
Digital. Yep.
So the modem swaps and changes between analog, telephone wire language, and digital language all the time. So whenever you're sending things, it's just swapping and changing all the time, backwards and forward, from analog, being phone language, to digital, being computer language. And that's all it does. We still need that. If, however, we've got this third thing here called Wi-Fi, we don't need that. Why? We don't need either of these systems here if we are using this one.
Because it does it wirelessly.
Right, how? Here's one we prepared earlier.
Yeah.
All right, it enables us to have mobility. What is it?
Mobile phone.
Okay, so it's using Wi-Fi, isn't it? Why? How?
Via the satellite.
Okay, is it via satellite or is it via something else?
Via the tower that we have around.
Absolutely. So I've got one that I've got up there before, but it uses a tower. If you're driving from Maruya, around Maruya, you'll actually see a tower at the top of the town. If you're driving from Bateman's Bay up towards Mogo, there is a huge tower at the top of town. That's what those towers are. So from your phone, those towers are emitting the signals, okay, so phone signals that your phone understands so that you can actually use the phone. So let's just say you're driving from Bateman's Bay to Mogo and you're about halfway. What happens?
Drop out.
Yeah.
It's going to drop out. Why?
Because the signal's not as strong.
The signal's not as strong, and since we've had the fires, the signal's a lot worse. It's because those towers still use electricity. Whereas a phone line, back in the olden days, you could pick up the phone all the time and you'd get a signal and you'd be able to call someone. With these phone networks, there's dead zones. And it's a good example between Bateman's Bay and Mogo where there is absolutely a dead zone all the time, because as soon as you drive through there, you used to be able to continue a phone call on the way through. But since we've actually had the fires, it's a lot worse. And the reason because the signal has been affected, the towers have been affected, and some places still don't have electricity to them. So the towers, I know that one of the towers at Tomakin was using a backup system, a backup battery to run it. But this is why we lost all communications during the fires. Does anyone have any questions about that?
Yeah.
Hey, Trish.
Hey, yeah.
I've made it.
How are you?
Oh, man, I've done it all by myself.
Where have you been?
I've been sitting here going, how the bloody hell I've got to start fiddling all by myself and try and get this fucking thing going. And I've got it going and I'm going, Yahoo, so go me. Good morning, anyway.
I am so proud of you. You did.
You are. I'll tell you what.
Well.
I'm going to give myself a...
And I'm going to mute everybody now. Okay. All that does is gets rid of background noise so that the quality of the video recording is better. So just to reiterate from before, once this is recorded, I'll pop it up onto YouTube. I'll send you a link and off you go. You can watch it again, Peter, from the beginning, what you missed. Okay, great. All right, so I'm switching back over now to share my screen, and I'd like to go through and just show you from here. The next slide. All right. So we know about the internet, how we connect, and then we've got these things called browsers. So if you're on this type of phone here, which is an Android, what type of browser or what is a browser first? Can anyone tell me? Unmute yourself.
Search engine.
Absolutely. So we've got this one here, which is the Google Chrome search engine. This one here is called Firefox. It's probably used in business, so most of us use this one now. This one here is the old one that we used to use forever, and that is called Internet Explorer, and it's owned by Microsoft. So Google Chrome is owned by Google. Firefox is owned by a company called Firefox, as Google is also a company, but it's called Google Chrome. So it's owned by Google, but the browser is called Chrome. This one is called Firefox. It's owned by an independent company, but it's used mainly for business.
Tricia, I've got a couple of questions.
Yeah.
Is it recommended to use any one of these or just one particular one?
I'll explain. Yeah, I think it comes down to one, what device you've got, and two, which one you prefer.
Okay. And sometimes you open up internet sites and it says it's not supported, or like you use Internet Explorer and it makes you go over to Chrome. It won't let you work on Explorer. Is there a reason behind that as well?
Yeah, it's what we call coding, and usually called JavaScript, which is way over our head, okay? It just means that the browser's got settings are not supporting what you're doing on that site, so it tries to shove you over to another one. And that's okay. I tend to get people to use this one, okay, because it just supports pretty much everything. This one here, like I said, Internet Explorer, they've changed the name of that. It's owned by Microsoft. And Microsoft now call it, I've just gone blank there. So Microsoft Internet Explorer is now called Microsoft Edge. So see how they've changed the name?
Yeah.
I don't like Edge at all because it's very busy. When you go onto it, it's covered in advertising and you can get carried off into so many places. But the other thing about Edge, this one here by Microsoft, they use it for advertising a lot. And whenever you're viewing it, it's got stuff that's moving all the time. And when it moves, it's chewing your data. So if you're on your phone and you've only got 1 gigabyte of data, which is a very small amount, it's using that. It's using it all the time. Whereas Google is really clean. This one here is Samsung Internet Browser. So if you have a Samsung phone, when you turn your phone on, just to show you, you'll actually see that browser in the middle, down the bottom. So that's the internet browser that is specifically there for a Samsung phone. I've had people with Samsung phones who've never even seen it, let alone used it, but it is there on all Samsung phones. This one here is for the Apple users. This one is called Safari. And if you are using Apple products, so an iPad, iPhone, or Mac computer, that's the one that you would use. Now, Mac users say to me, but I've got Google. That's fine. It doesn't matter. It comes down to personal preference on which one you want to use. So if you're on a Mac, you can use either. If you're on a stand-up Mac computer or Apple computer, most of the time you'll be using this one. So this is the icon or the image that you'll see to use that browser. Any questions?
Yeah, I have a question.
Yeah.
I quite often start on the Google, the first symbol, and then I don't know how it does it or why it does it, but then when I finish, it's turning off on the Safari.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that normal?
It is. Your Apple computer or your iPad will revert to that.
So like a default.
Of the time. It likes it. It's a default setting. Yep. So
okay, so I don't have to worry about that.
No, and you can
because quite often I think, why did I end up there? Because that's not where I started from.
Yeah, but it is the main browser for all Apple products.
So should I be using that from the beginning instead of the first one, the Google one?
No, it doesn't matter. If you're getting information sent through to from work, for example, a link that they're sending you, it will open it up maybe in Google automatically. And then where you go to on that, it can go back and revert to Safari. It's fine. It doesn't matter as long as you're getting the information.
Yeah, okay. Mine's personal information. I don't have a work phone.
Okay.
So I don't get work stuff on this computer, on my personal stuff.
Yeah, it's fine. This one here is very safe. So when you're using an Apple device, this one is actually designed for Apple. So it will be better on Apple.
Okay, well, I'll try that then. I'll try using that one in future.
Either
see
one
what happens.
Fine. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
You don't even have options for these three on your Apple. But this one, the Google one is fine as well.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. Okay, the internet. If you are on the internet, and I've written Talking Techno there because we actually have got a blog. A blog is an article or a piece of information that tells you about things. I actually have got on my website information about the internet as a blog on there. So you can always go to my website and go to our Talking Techno blog to find out more information. I think for the purpose of this, YouTube will probably work better for you. So these links to YouTube would probably be more preferable than that at this point in time. But it is there for you. Okay, here we go. Going back to what I was talking about with regards to the internet. I'll just go over that. So if I grab this, you'll actually see this little baby here. Back in the olden day, the pen was mightier than the sword. Today, the computer pen, called a stylus, is mightier than this one. I'll show you why. What am I doing?
Drawing.
Yeah. Drawing. So this is the great thing about this type of technology. It enables me to draw it. Now, I did show you the video. So the internet, just to explain it in plain everyday English. Really good at drawing. Not. Okay, what have I drawn?
World Wide Web.
Perfect. So www stands for World Wide Web. That's the internet. That's how it works. Prior to that, we've got HTTP. Some of you would have heard that already. What does that mean? Can you remember? Okay, it stands for Text Transfer Protocol. What we have to look out for now is that anything that you look at on the internet's got the S. Why?
Because that's secure.
Secure, yeah.
Secure. Hypertext Transfer Protocol Security. So if it doesn't have an S, it can be dodgy. World Wide Web, Hypertext Transfer Protocol is the way that we search for and find information. So literally it means hypertext. We might click on a picture, okay? So with our mouse, we'll move up to that and we'll click on it, or we might have a word and we move to that word and we click on that, okay? Or we tap it on the phone. Those words are hypertext, and it means that once you click on it or the picture, it will take you to that information. And when we're doing it, it is literally like saying, okay, I'm here, I've clicked on the internet on this page, but it's taken me all the way over there. Does that make sense? Yeah. So when you're looking for information on the internet, it's not all held here in my computer. Where is it? The information is everywhere, hence the term World Wide Web. So if we're looking about information on Hawaii, where are we going to find it? So we're on our little computer here, we type in Hawaii in our browser and it takes us to New Zealand. Oh, that's not New Zealand, that's New Zealand. It takes us to New Zealand. Why are we going to New Zealand to find information about Hawaii? Because in New Zealand, there's a travel agent who's got a special deal on at the moment for Hawaiian holidays. So you could be looking at Hawaii, but you're on a computer here. You could be on a computer here. So while you jump from New Zealand, you can actually go through to Europe. You can go through to here. You can go anywhere where there is a computer, anywhere in the world that has got the information that you want. Does that make sense?
Yes.
What's happening there? Okay. So, good. So that's how it works. And that for you is very important that you understand. So when you're linking out or you're clicking on a picture, you're leaving that one site that you were on and you're going somewhere else. Think of it as in a library. You're in one rack, you've got a book, and you're looking at that, and then that book says, refer to this book. And you go, okay, so that book is in another section in the library. You go over to that book, you open it up, you read and you find the information that you want. Think about going to the library. There's 100,000 books in the library. You're on in one book and it says the word spider. How many pages in every single book in the library will contain the word spiders?
Millions.
Millions. How long is it going to take you to find it?
A long time.
Right. So if I said to you, okay, your task for today is to go to the library and find every book in the library and with the word spider on every page and count it, how long is that going to take?
A long time.
All right. If we're going to do it on the internet, how long is it going to take?
A second less.
Right. So we might have on the internet, we type it in as spiders, and it might take 0.25 seconds to find that. Okay, can you see based on that the advantage of being on the internet? How quickly it is. So anything that we want, any information about anything is found very, very quickly just by typing in one word. The other thing that we do type in is a phrase or a group of words, because if we're looking at spiders and we want spiders, we might just say, no, I want to find redback spiders. That's only going to find us in less time every page on the internet that contains the word redback spiders. And again, that can be anywhere in the world. Okay. All right. What I have here is, what have I drawn?
A cloud.
Cloud.
A cloud. So what you're saying here is something that we really do need to understand how the cloud works. So are you on the cloud, Kylie? Charlie, are you on the cloud?
Yes.
Leanne, are you on the cloud?
Sometimes. I don't know.
But it says my cloud is full.
Cloud 9, you're on cloud 9.
But then what do you do, Trish, if your cloud is full? Like it says on my device that my cloud is full.
Good, I'm glad. Okay, I'm going to explain the cloud. So the cloud is not actually a cloud. The cloud itself doesn't exist. What you're seeing here is the cloud. This is my cloud. And what you have in there is, think of this like a filing cabinet. And each one of these drawers in this filing cabinet contains information. So the cloud is not the cloud. The cloud is your email address. If you're using an Apple, your email address will be your name at iCloud or something like that. If you're using Google Cloud, which I am, the Google Cloud is called Google Drive. Can you see that there? Yeah. All right, Google Drive. So this is my cloud.
Trish, how did you get into the cloud?
How did I get there?
Yeah.
Now or before?
Well, that's what I just don't understand this cloud.
No, nobody ever does. I'm going to explain it. So, Tammy.
And I don't even know. I don't even know how to get into it. Like I know I've got shit saved in it, but I don't know how, and I don't know because my son's done it, and he's like, he's this cloud. He loves this cloud shit, and yeah, so I just was wondering how you got into it.
No, that's really good. And it's very, very important that you understand it. And what you have said is the same story we hear all the time. Someone set it up for me. I know I've got the cloud. My cloud's full, but I can't get into it. How do I get into it? What do I do with it? That is very, very common. Okay. Do you have an email address?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody now has an email address. Anybody who doesn't have an email address is forced to have one. Today, I'm going to focus on Google Cloud, and it's the only one at the moment I'm going to focus on because depending on what email address you have, whether it's an iCloud one, or Hotmail, Outlook, they are all different clouds, okay? So the cloud, all the cloud is an email address. So my email address is, I'm going to write it here. I'd like you all to take it down. So it's TRICIA _ PIE PYE at hotmail.com. That's my personal account. That also has the cloud. This cloud here is a business cloud. So it's actually linked to the Tec Exec at Gmail. And this is the one we're going to concentrate on today, gmail.com. Okay, so what we're looking at is my email address. And this email address is connected to a filing cabinet that is called the Tec Exec. Does that make sense? So the email account is the techexec at gmail.com. Whenever you have an email account, you're in the cloud. Whose cloud?
Your cloud.
Your cloud.
No.
Gmail's cloud or Google Cloud.
Right. I don't have a cloud. I don't own my cloud, unfortunately. What I do have is an account, a cloud account, or it's called a filing cabinet at Google called the Tec Exec at Gmail. So in there, we have got all of my emails that come in. But not only my emails, all of the attachments. So you'll have an email that might have an attachment from work, a report. Where is all of that stored? Back in the olden days, we used to put it in a filing cabinet. Where do we put it now?
Wow.
A cloud filing cabinet, which is attached to your Gmail account or any email account. As soon as you receive an email, it's being held in the cloud. Whose cloud?
Email.
Google Cloud. So Google, just going to dump out of here so I can make this a lot clearer, because it is really important that you understand it. Okay, so Jason's left us for the moment, which is fine. Okay, so I'm going to start my share again, but this time I'm bringing up the whiteboard. Bit of noise happening there behind you, Kylie. I've just, okay. So the cloud, just think of it like a filing cabinet. So I'm just going to draw myself a little filing cabinet here. Now filing cabinet's got a drawer in it. There's another drawer. The email address is the Tec Exec at gmail.com. At the front of your house, do you have a mailbox?
Yeah.
What happens in the mailbox?
Mail gets delivered.
Okay, let's just say that that is your home cloud. What's the difference between a Google cloud and your home cloud being the mailbox? Nothing. If you have a Google cloud, think of it a little bit like the post office box. So let's go to Australia Post. When I first moved to Bateman's Bay 17 years ago, we lived on a rural property over at Long Beach. I have a business and have had a business for a long time. I went into Australia Post and said, hey, I have a business, I live out here and I don't get any mail. And they said, oh, at that time there was no mail delivery service. And I said, oh, okay, I have a business, what's the solution? They said, what you can do is hire from us a post office box. So I hired a post office box from them called 123. So what I do is I pay a yearly fee to subscribe to that post office box. The post office box is the same post office box every single day, every single year, and has been for 17 years. I still have it. What I use to get into that account is one of these things. I can't draw. What is it?
A key.
Right. When you're looking at Google Cloud, like your email account, what do you need to get into that?
Your email address. Yeah.
Right. You need your email address. See why these things are so important? Address and
Passcode.
password.
Password.
Right.
I wouldn't know what my password was.
Okay, Tammy, that is a problem and will be a problem. So you actually do need to probably chat with your son about either resetting your password or not.
Oh, okay.
Because let's say you've got a post box out the front of your house and somebody hits it and it disappears. Is that a problem? There's a $20,000 check in that post box. What's the problem there?
You can't get to it.
Well, you lost
That mailbox,
until you...
that mailbox on the stick out the front of your house has got a check in it. Somebody's actually come and they've knocked it off and it's gone. Is that a problem?
Yeah.
Right. But if you cemented it into the ground and they couldn't get it, is that $20,000 check still in there?
Probably.
Hopefully.
Yeah, it is. So what we need to do is look after that post office box, your Gmail account, exactly the same way you would your post box out the front. Okay? You need to take care of it. So that's why from day one I've said to you those 4 things are really important. Your username, your email address, your password, and any passcodes you have for your devices. It's one of the most important things we need to know every single time. Okay, so going back to my post office box, people send me letters to my post office box every day. Every day I'll go to that post office box, I stick the key in, I open it up, I take it out. With my email address, I do the same. But what's happened, Google in this instance have said you can have on our computers storage. That storage is linked to your email address, which is there. Inside that storage, they're going to say to you, you have got 5 gigabytes of space. Okay, so 4 movies worth of space. In there, over time, over 17 years, this one here, the Gmail account, I've added more and more emails to more and more emails, more and more emails, more and more emails. Now, Kylie, this is very relevant to you because over time, you're taking photos. You're getting attachments in your emails. Where are they being stored?
In the cloud.
In the cloud. So you're using whose cloud? What is it, an Apple one?
Yeah.
Right. So that Apple account is full. That means you can't put any more information in it. Now, your emails are also attached to that. So after a period of time, it's going to say to you, you either upgrade or you start deleting stuff. So that means...
email is a Hotmail account.
Well, that then is a Microsoft account and it's full.
Okay.
So Microsoft, Hotmail is owned by Microsoft. It's exactly the same. It just means you've had it for a while. You've got photos in there. You've got everything in there. It's full. So you need to be able to go in and clean it out.
Okay.
So you either remove stuff for it and back it up somewhere else, or you pay to grow the storage. And this is what I do. This one here, because it's my business one, I pay $25 a year for that to grow with me.
Okay.
All right. So you can actually, if you want to keep everything in there, 1, you can go in and clean it out. And 2, you do what I do and you say, I want mine to grow and expand with me. So I pay $25 a year to do that. That's giving me now. So I said to you with your Hotmail account, you would have 5 gigabytes of space. That is what Microsoft will give you. That is what Apple will give you.
Yeah.
That is what Google will give you is 5 gigabytes free. That's it. Once you go over that, they want you then to pay for more space. Now, I still pay for my post office box. Every year it's going up. So when I first had my post office box, I think it was $90 a year. And now it's just due for $201. So that size isn't changing, but the price is going up.
Yep.
Google is charging me and have charged me $25 a year to have 1 terabyte of space. Okay, 1 terabyte is how many movies? 1,000.
Okay.
See the difference? So 1 gigabyte is 1 movie. 1 terabyte that I pay $25 a year for is 1,000 gigabytes. So that's 1,000 movies. That is huge space. Now, I've had this Gmail account for 10 years and I've still got tons of space in there. So that's why I'm still only paying $25 a year. As we start to put more videos in there and more photos, I might go over that in another couple of years. Who knows? So you do need to be aware that once your cloud account is full, it needs to be updated, removed, changed, or you start to pay for it. And most people don't know that. But the biggest problem is what Tammy suggested, is that she might not know her password for it, which if you lose the device or you get locked out and you don't know the password, it can be difficult to get back in. If you lose your email address and your password, you can never get back in, which means you could have years of family photos that you've taken and you can lose access to them. So these are the basic rules where you're using the cloud. You don't own it, but literally all it is in this instance here, so my instance with Google, is Google have said, when you create this email account, the Gmail, the Tec Exec at Gmail, we're going to give you 5 gigabytes of space on our Google computers at Google's offices. Where are they? I use that same space, okay, from Google over and over and over again. I don't pay for that until I go over that 5 gigabyte limit that they've given me.
So then what's the Google Drive? Is Google Drive the cloud?
That's what this is called. So I'm going to get rid of this. And that other screen there that I've got up, is my Google Drive. So this Google Drive is attached. There's my cloud, isn't it beautiful and clean? So my Google Drive is connected to the Tec Exec at gmail.com. And I have got 1 terabyte of information, and that costs me $25 per year. And that will grow with me. So I don't even care if I end up paying $50 a year for extra space, because all the information is in one place and it will always be in one place. This cloud is called Google Drive.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So how do you access Google Drive? Because I do have a Gmail account as well. I do have a Google email, but I don't use it, but I've got one because I had to link it with something that I signed up for. So I needed a Google account. How do you access the Drive?
I'll show you. I like to draw on my screens. Can you tell? Okay. So I'll go live now and I'll show you. So see that screen that I draw over before the cloud one? That was looking at my Google Drive. So I'm going to now go to Google. So down the bottom, I'm going to Google Chrome. So the Google Chrome browser, the round colourful one. And I'm actually going to log into my Gmail account. See how I've got Google up now? Beautiful and clean.
No, I can just see faces. I'm not on your screen.
Okay. Thank you. I need to share. Oh, share my screen again.
There we go.
So there we go. And see down here?
Yeah.
These are our browsers down the bottom. Got Google Chrome there. Firefox is here. Okay, so they're the different browsers. And there's Internet Explorer, which is yucky. We don't use it, which is now called Microsoft Edge. I'm going to go back to Chrome, and I've got a stack of stuff open here. If you look up here, that's actually a picture of me. When I hold my mouse on that, it actually tells you what my email account is. So that means I'm logged in to my Gmail account. If you're doing this on your phone, you would click on the mail. So you actually have all of your apps. I'll go into here and see all of my Google apps. I've got them all in one space. Click on that and it shows all of those apps. Can you see all of those?
Yeah.
All right, there's one there that says mail. It's the top one. Then this one here on the phone is Google Drive. See the two there?
Yeah.
So if I want to check my email account, I go to the mail one. If I want to go to which I'm using here, see how I've got Gmail there?
Yeah.
But next to that, there's this Google Apps button. See this? It looks like a Rubik's Cube. I'll click on that and you'll actually see Google Drive there. See that there? That's the same app that I just showed you on my phone. You hear? So it's there and it's there. I'll show you on the screen on here because it's bigger. But literally what I'm doing by going to Drive is looking at, say the drive is my filing cabinet space in Google's computers. I click on that and it opens up. And it's now bringing in everything that I've got stored in Google Drive. So just while we wait, it's loading. See the little circle that's thinking. It's now got things like My Drive, Computers, Shared with Me, Recent, Start, and Trash. Now, I've had this drive for how long did I say? Can anyone remember how long I said I've had this drive for?
17 years.
This one I've had for 10. Close. Actually have had this one for 10 years. So down here in very small writing, it's actually got the storage space. 43.9 gigabytes of 100 gigabytes used. So I've used almost half of my 1 terabyte space. So 100 gigabytes is that terabyte of space, okay? Here, it's got by storage. So if your storage is full, if your Google Drive or your iCloud's full, to be able to keep it going and be effective, you one, going back to what I said before, is either clean it up, or two, buy more storage. Now, back in the olden days, we had these things called removable hard drives. Can anybody tell me what they are?
They're hard drives that you plug into your computer to store photos or movies or whatever you want to store on there, and then you pull it out and it's on that drive.
Yeah, rightio. So they are removable storage devices that you can just take and shove away, put all your photos on it, walk away. How much do they cost?
Nothing, cheap.
Oh, it depends.
About $80 up.
Yeah.
Okay, for a Google Drive. Then, back in the olden days, we used to have these things.
Yeah, thumb drive.
Okay, that is a USB thumb drive. And it's a smaller version of what we were just talking about, the removable drive. Oh, look, I've gone ghosty. Hello. That just means, when I'm doing that, that just means the internet's unstable. But I feel like a black and white minstrel. Hello. Okay, so my thumb drive there, this one here is 16 gigabytes of space. These here cost about $10 each. The bigger 1 terabyte removable hard drives are about $80 up. How much did I say my Google Drive costs me to store all of my information there every year?
25 bucks.
$25 a year to store all of my information there. But have a look at this. What does this say here? It says certificate for NSB onboarding. Okay, I'll show you something. What I love about it is when I go out and about with my hard drive, I have my hard drive in my pocket as my backup. And I walk around the streets with my hard drive in my pocket and my phone in the other. Am I cool? No, because you don't need to carry your hard drive. It'd be like back in the olden days, we had the phone book and we're walking around the street with a phone book under our hands. Everything now is here. So even though I'm on a desktop computer, when I go to my phone and I go back to my Google Apps, the drive is there. I just click on it and it opens up the drive. All right. Now, you probably can't see it, but it's going to turn around with me. And in there, the very first thing that it will say, okay, you've actually got My Drive, recent, offline backup settings, and I can see there, it says at the bottom, you might not be able to read it, but it says 43. So what's the difference? I'm going to walk around the street, I'm going to carry this around with me everywhere, or I'm just going to have the phone and nothing else. What happens is we have got another term called syncing. What does that mean?
Syncs between compatible devices.
Absolutely. So when I showed you last week how to get rid of your cookies, I did say to you, desktop computer connected to this Gmail account. We've got the phone connected to the Gmail account. We've got my tablet that I'm using here connected to the Gmail account. What that means is once they're connected to the internet, they're all talking to each other and they're all getting information from this one place. This one place called what?
The cloud.
The cloud. And the cloud, in simple terms, is the email account that you have. Does that make sense? Has anyone got any questions? Do you need me to clarify that anymore?
So is it the best place to store your photos?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep, without fail. I'll tell you why. Over Christmas when we had the fires, I know a business that put their lives at risk to go back to their office and get their hard drive backups that they had on their computers. They risked it and they drove back and the fire burnt the actual back of their building and the building next door. So they took their lives in their own hands to be able to get their data, their customer information. That's not a risk I would ever take. What I do is instead of having a drive like they did, it's all on my phone. It's all on all computers all at the same time. And that's the beauty of the cloud, is that once you take a photo from your phone, it's available in your... Okay?
Can I ask a question?
Sure can.
With the cloud, where I've said to you before, my cloud is full, but does that take everything from my phone as well as my desktop computer or just my phone?
As long as you're logged, well, you need to make sure that you're backing up and syncing to the same place. Okay?
You lost me there, but yeah, okay.
Things we learn over time. So when you get your device set up, if it's set up properly, it will sync. So if you tell your computer to back up to that email address, see, some people will back up to Telstra. So if you've got a Telstra account, your computer may be programmed to back up to Telstra. If you have got a Gmail account, you have to tell your phone, your computer, and your other devices to all back up to one place. Most of us have got no idea how to do that. So that's what we're doing here. We need to check, one, whether or not your computer is backing up, and two, if it's all backing up to the same place. And that then is where you determine where it's going to be. Is it going to be to a Hotmail account, which is Microsoft's computers? Is it going to be to Yahoo, which is Yahoo's computers? Is it going to be to Telstra, which uses Telstra storage? Okay. If you're using Southern Phone, it's going to store all of your data on their computers. So that's what you need to be aware of, is where your information is actually going, first off.
Trish, can I ask you a question?
Sure, Peter.
I mean, not ask a question. I have to go to work now. I'm not asking a question. I beg your pardon. I have to go now. I have to start a bit early with this gentleman. So as much as I'd love to sit here and listen to you, I shall see you all next week. And I'll bet I'm the first one on there.
Okay. Can you tell me your one takeaway from today so far?
Takeaway so far today is understanding where things are stored and better explain to me exactly what a cloud is.
Beautiful. And do you have a clearer knowledge on that now?
Well, I'm learning, and it's all very new to me, but I'm getting a better understanding of when you use the terminology, exactly what it is that you're sort of directing us to understand, I guess. Yeah.
And you know, you're absolutely spot on there. There's that much jargon or terminology associated with everything, let alone computing. And it's just once you break it down, it makes it easier to learn. So thank you, Peter. I really appreciate your feedback. Thanks for joining us today. And look out for an email from me that's got the link to this via YouTube.
Absolutely.
Okay. I'll do that. Congratulations again for getting here.
Go me.
You did well. All right. So down the bottom there, you should have an option that says end meeting. Okay, so I'll stop this share and just ask me any other questions if you've got any questions before we go on to the rest of the presentation.
Yeah, I've got to leave in about 10 minutes, Trish, because I am at work and I've got to go, yes.
Okay, so what I'll do is I'll just go back to my presentation, my beautiful cloud presentation.
Can I just ask a quick question? Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, what happens, like I've got all this information in the cloud and I die, just say, I die. If I die, does that all that information become part of my estate? How do you transfer it to someone else?
Okay, I wrote a program because of that, and the program is called ED.
Yep.
ED stands for Everyday Digital, and it teaches you how to create a backup of all of your passwords, all of your accounts, everything that you've got stored with your executor. Nobody does it.
Yeah, so who then owns all this information if I'm not here?
Who owns it? Google. Yeah. Nobody owns it. It's stored in Google's account. It's your information, but you, like you have, let's say you did die tomorrow and you've got a house and you have no will. What's going to happen?
Well, it depends. It goes to the other person.
Does it?
If I own it on my own.
Yep.
Yeah, well, there's whole chains of who it goes to, but yeah.
Okay, so if you died tomorrow and you have no will, it's not going to go to who you want it to.
Government.
The government will decide where it goes. That's why we have to have a will.
Yeah.
Now, let's just say that you decide, or you've got one child and you tell that one child the house is yours. They've got to be able to prove that you wanted them to have it. Mm-hmm. So to break that down with regards to this, if you die tomorrow, you have to tell your executor, your son or whoever, what to do with your information.
And so they can transfer it to a different account. Is that how it works?
No, you have to leave a will or what we call an exit strategy.
Yeah.
So this is what I've been working on with people since all this stuff happened. So probably about 10 years ago, we created one for a specific group of people. And now because of the fires and all that sort of stuff, we've rejigged it, called it ED. So it's ED, Everyday Digital, which is your exit strategy, where you store things in a locked box on the internet with passwords. You give one or two people access to that as a safety net. So that's something, if you're interested in, definitely doing that. You just need to talk to me about it. But no, you need to leave, because if you die and nobody knows what to do with your Facebook page, it's going to stay there forever. If you don't leave instructions what you want done with your email account, it'll just stay there.
It'll just sit there forever and ever and just nothing.
Yep. And the thing is, if you've got stuff in there, like photos that you want to share with your family, you can't. They can't access it because So that's quite dangerous to not have a backup or what we call an exit strategy. Okay, it's like starting a business without a plan.
Yeah. Well, it must still cause lots of problems too when people sell businesses and staff have all this information on their work accounts and so forth. Like, it must be quite interesting.
With council, what they do is they give you your email, and this from day one, remember we spoke about when you get the email account. They give you that email account and they give you a password to it, but they make you reset that password every 3 months. If you leave employment, they actually cut that email address off straight away.
Oh, right, yeah.
That's the whole purpose of them giving you a very individualised one. It only gives you access to certain information, and then once you are not once you're no longer an employee, that email account is disconnected and everything in it. Okay, so we need to leave instructions, guys. It's very, very important.
Thank you.
This next thing is one of the biggest reasons why. Just a second, it's coming. Everybody now needs to have a MyGov account. Everybody has, if you want to travel overseas, you have to have a passport. So what that means, if you've got a MyGov account, you are, and you need a MyGov account, because what information is in MyGov?
All your sort of social security, anything to do with the government, everything.
What else?
Medicare.
Tax. What else?
My identity.
It's your whole identity. So all your medical records are in there, all your kids' medical records, if your kids are under 16, all of that information is now held in there. So MyGov account, you have to be very careful of, because if you lose access to that, sometimes you can't get access back. You have to create a new one.
You can, though, create a new one, can't you, Trish?
Yeah, but I wouldn't recommend it. You're better off to look after one and keep one, because you don't want to lose, because if you lose everything that you put up in one MyGov account with all of your medical history in it, and then you lose access to it and you have to create another one, that's all gone. Other information like superannuation is also stored in there. Veteran affairs for older people, all of that's stored in there. So the idea is keep your email address that you use handy, know what your access key or number is to get on, and know what your password is to get on there at all times. The only thing really that you can do when you go to Centrelink and they create one for you or help you create one, what they're doing is giving you a cardboard card like a library card. What you do with that card is very important. You could throw it away.
But
you can lose access to everything. Or
yeah, but if Centrelink have done one,
yeah, you
can redo another one.
Yeah, the card's fine, but you don't want to have more than one MyGov account. It's going to get tricky. So take my advice from today. Email address, username, password, passcode. Because what happens when you create your MyGov account and you go in, we're doing Health My Way as a project now through our partnership with the Australian government and the Be Connected program. If you lose that information, it's to get access again. So we're running this program at the moment to teach people these things for this reason. So you need to put your email address in when you want to go to MyGov, or you use the app. The thing with the app will remember you, but if you lose your phone and you go get a new phone and you want to log into MyGov app, you've got to know the username, the password to get in there. Not only do you need to know the passcode, it's going to send you a message to your phone because you've still got that same phone, and it's going to give you a PIN number or passcode. Without the passcode, you can't get in. So you've got to have your username, your email address, passcode every time you want to use MyGov. So be very, very careful with that one.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've done our browsers.
All right, Trish, can I go?
Yes. So we're going to actually just go on with bookmarks. Tammy, again, the rest of this will be in the remainder, which I'll upload as a video for you. Can you tell me your one takeaway for today?
Learn all about the cloud.
Yeah, the cloud is interesting, isn't it? But just
it's very interesting.
Yeah, that it actually doesn't exist.
Now all I've got to do is find out the password.
Yes.
I'm going to go home and work on that today.
Yep. And if you need to get somebody to help you, if you can't figure out what the password is, get somebody to help you reset the password. And then write it down and store it somewhere safe. Thanks for joining us. I'll see you again next week.
Okay. Bye, Trish.
Bye.
See you, Tam.
Something that we wanted to learn about last week was bookmarks. Remember what a bookmark was? When we have a book of any kind, like so, and we want to see a very specific page, we open it to that page. Once we close the book again, how do we bookmark the page that we've been to?
We put a physical bit of paper or something in there for that physical book.
Yeah, this one I've got actually got an elastic band. So that is a very, very simple version of a bookmark. So when I want to open it, that bookmark is there. It opens it to that exact page. Does that make sense? When we're on the internet, it does exactly the same thing. But bookmarking enables us to go in and bookmark very specific pages. For example, if you want to bookmark MyGov, you can. If you want to bookmark your email address, you can. If you want to bookmark Netflix so that it's quick and easy to get there every single time, you can do that as well. The way we do that is by going to the internet again. And okay, I'll just share this again. And go back to the internet. We're doing a lot of swapping and changing today. Back to the internet. Okay, can you tell me, first of all, how or what you need to do when you're going to remove cookies?
Go to the 3 dots at the top of your screen on the right-hand side.
Okay, what do you need to do first?
Click on it.
See all of these tabs, and I've deliberately... Yeah. So
close it down.
Yeah, if you don't close all of these tabs down, you'll get into trouble. So we need to make sure that we close these tabs down. For example, this one, see how they're going away and they've got a little X on them? So we click on those, that will remove them. Depending on your device, they could be you swipe them off. But just here where we are, you do that. Then we go to the 3 dots, and the 3 dots will give us a menu. On your internet, if you're using Safari, you will have this, but it looks a little bit different. So from there, you'll see that we've got bookmarks, and you can actually see bookmark this tab, bookmark all tabs. If we want to remove things, we need to go in and clear the browsing data. So once all of our tabs across the top, so tab 1, 2, 3, 4, I've got all of those open, many of them. Once we close all of those down, and what's Wi-Fi, all of that, we've covered off on that. Once we close all of these down, we can then remove the cookies. We actually have got many. This one, this is a bookmark that I put on a very separate specific toolbar. If I click on that, it's going to log me into what we call Xero, and Xero is the accounting program that I use. So quickly click on that and it opens up the login page to Xero. See why keeping a bookmark is important? So I use this all the time to do our business bookkeeping. If I didn't, I'd have to find Xero on the internet, I'd have to click on it, I'd have to then go to log in. By using a bookmark here, it's really fast. I do have another bookmark that I've got, and it's actually this one here. See here? What's that?
Facebook.
Facebook. So if I click on that, it should take me to Facebook. And is that what it's doing at the moment? See how quick and easy it is. On your phone, it's different. You don't need a bookmark because you've got what instead?
Apps.
Right. So on the internet, you're using the website so the internet website to get you to where you want to be. On your phone, you're using apps. So you'll download from the computer to your phone an app called Facebook, and you can just press the app to get in. Very simple. Whereas here, we don't have an app. So we have to find it via the internet. If I click here and go to bookmarks, I'm going to go to the bookmark manager, and you'll actually see all of the bookmarks that I've got. I have, you know, a couple.
So really, they're sort of apps.
Pardon?
So they're sort of like a PC app.
Yeah.
Yep.
So if you have a look here, I've got this one for Health My Way. That's the project I was telling you that we're working on at the moment. Then there's the Apple Bookmark. So Bookmark is a folder. It's a little folder that you create, or a spot for Facebook to go. Then we've got Talking Techno, which is my blog. Then we've got MailChimp, suppliers. So I've set this up for lots and lots of Google. I've got Google Bookmarks. So in Google Bookmarks, stuff I found on Google, I'm going, oh, that's really interesting article, or that's a great video. So I'll bookmark them in there. Then when I want to find them, see this here, Microsoft Office Home. If I go there to that bookmark, that will actually take me to Microsoft. If I want to remove it, I can. See here, edit, delete, cut, copy URL, open in a new tab. If I click on open in a new tab, it's then going to go. So that's like going to an app and pressing the app, and the app then opens Facebook, or the app opens Microsoft. So what this is doing now, it's obviously spinning because the internet is slow, because we're recording and we've got so many people on here, plus we're using video. Otherwise, that's usually quite fast. So whenever these are spinning like that, they're loading. So if I go to that one now, they've actually changed that address. So that one, I can actually remove it. So I'm going to click on that, 3 dots, but wait, there's more. So the 3 dots always mean, but wait, there's more. If I click delete, it'll remove that bookmark because it's no longer relevant. So that's just like taking, okay, I've finished reading this book. I take the bookmark out, literally deleted it, don't need that page anymore, and I can close the book. Anyone got any questions about that?
Do you, if you're on your PC or whatever, do you keep those tabs open, or do you generally close them? Like, doesn't it slow the computer down?
Well, see how this is all spinning here? It's because I've got so many tabs open as well. So it is slowing it. So I'm going to close that one. I'm now going to close the bookmark. Now the bookmarks actually aren't taking up a lot of space. They're literally just like having a little piece of paper just sitting in there. That doesn't take up a lot of room, because really all it's taking. Say for example, this video that I've got. I love this video. So that's a new one that I found, because before, remember I said I actually had a photo that did this. So now I've found this really awesome, amazing video that explains the same thing, but done a whole lot better.
All the skills and techniques you need to create incredible.
Skip ad, and I'm going to go back to the other one. Okay, so now that I've got that animated map, I'm going to use it over again. But am I going to remember youtube.com/watch $V equals capital D, capital A, capital H, capital Z, capital T, capital R? Am I going to remember that?
No.
No chance. So what I can do is I go to the dot, I go to bookmarks, and I'm going to bookmark this tab. And I'm going to tell it to put it on the bookmarks bar, which is that section that you saw down here. That's done, so that I can close this, and whenever I want to use it again, it's there, it's bookmarked, I can find it again. Going to just click close on that, click close on that, go back to my bookmarks, come down to bookmarks, go to bookmarks bar, And in here, in the bookmarks bar, should be that YouTube video. Once I click on it, voila, I don't have to remember that ever again. So is this the right video? Now we probably will get an ad first. So let's just wait for it to move around. And it could take a little while. The internet is most definitely slowed down. So whenever that's spinning like that, but that is the same address. So I'll just leave it, I'll let it come up, see if it will come up, and I'll get rid of a couple of these just to give it a bit more space. And I will stop the screen share. That will stop that spinning, but it will load. And there it is now, it's loaded. Can you see that video again?
Yeah, I can now.
Right. Yeah. So that video there, because of what I did, bookmarked it, has come up. I'm going to close it now. I now know I don't need to try and find it ever again. I've got it, it's stored. So it's literally like grabbing a piece of paper, going over to a filing cabinet, opening the drawer, popping it in, and it's there the next time I need it. Okay, any questions on that? It's a lot to take in, isn't it? But the more you understand about this and the way the internet works, the easier it is going to be to do the jobs that your work want you to do. Because you're going to get a lot of emails from them, and those emails will contain attachments. All of those attachments you can store in the cloud. You don't need to print them out anymore. Okay, did everybody take my email address down?
Yeah.
What I'd like you to do is try to send me an email. So if you're watching Zoom, can you send an email to me while we're in class still?
On the same device?
Yeah.
Probably, but I don't think I can.
Okay, Megan, you're on your iPhone.
Yep.
Down the bottom of your iPhone, there's a little round button, correct?
A little
round,
which button?
Little
round button, yes.
Yep. That's called the home button.
Yep.
If you press on that, I'm going to disappear.
Yeah.
Do it.
No, because then you're gone.
Okay. When we do this later, I'll show you how to get things back. But everybody,
okay, thank you.
That home button, when I was talking to you before and I sent Gay the message, this is what I can do is I can actually just move screens around so that I can have multiple things happening at once. That's what's important. You have multiple apps happening. You can be doing multiple things, but don't be afraid of that. I know it is scary, but these are the things that we will be learning about throughout the duration, because sometimes you might be doing something, particularly trying to log into a bank, and then they're going to say, you need to enter in this 6-digit PIN number, which we're going to send to you via email. A lot of people go to one computer, then go to another. What about if you're walking down the street and you need to do something then and there? So we need to make sure that we're using the devices effectively. So next session, they're the sorts of things that we're going to move on. But for the Apple users, I will give you that in a moment when we move over to that second part of that Apple session. So for those of you who are using Android, you will also have a little home button. On mine, depending on the type of phone you got, it is a tiny little square there at the bottom. When I press that, it will take me back to here. So if I go into messages, when I'm moving around, that same button, I'll just wait till it comes in. See how it's now there? I've got messages open. I just press on that, it takes me back to the home screen every single time. So very important that we understand what the home screen on your device does, because you can have multiple things open and then switch backwards and forwards between them. And that's something that you do need to do. You need to be able to do that. So for those of you who are on Android or on desktop computers with me now, we can finish off. But before we do, I'll just introduce what we're going to be doing next week. And we're actually working with online forms and emails. Very important that we understand what online forms are because we need to fill them in all the time. To give you an example, when you enrolled for this course, what did you have to do? Kylie, you're muted.
Fill out an enrolment form.
Right. What if we didn't get that enrolment form to you in a physical sense? How would you have enrolled for this course, given the fact that we can't leave home?
You do it online, but I don't think I did my enrolment form.
We've got a copy of one.
Okay, so someone else has done it. Okay.
Yeah. So we actually do have to do these things by law, particularly for funded courses. So everything that you do now, whether or not you're signing up for a Netflix account or a new email, that email will ask you for your name, your address, your telephone number, your password, all of those things, and you fill out a form. So you need to be aware that everything, particularly if you want to go and create or get a new passport. So I mentioned last week, when you want to get a passport, you can't go and get a form and do that anymore. It's got to be done online. Once you do it online, you pay for it online, you print it out, you go get your photos taken to the post office. They put the photos on and then they send it away. 6 weeks later, you'll get your passport in the mail. That's how that's done now. Whereas before, you could go to the post office, they help you put the form in, they take the photos, you sign it, and then off it goes. So everything now is done online. So it's about getting used to using these features like online forms, which we'll do next week. So for those of you who are on Android, I think, Gay, are you on an Android?
No.
No, you're on an Apple. Okay, Leanne? So everybody who's left is on Apple?
Yep.
Cool. All right.
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay, excellent.
Oh, shit.
Heard that.
Oh.
What have I got?
You've got an iPad.
Okay, so I'm going to stop the recording now. Can you please just tell me your one takeaway from today's session? Once we've finished that, I'll stop the recording and I'll go through the Apple. Leanne, unmute yourself first.
Bookmark.
Bookmarks. You like bookmarks? They're pretty interesting, aren't they?
Yeah, I need to use them.
Yeah, okay, good. Gay?
Cloud, how that works and what happens to it.
On a cloud. The cloud is where we store all of our info, whereas, you know, years ago we used a filing cabinet. There's no difference between a filing cabinet and the cloud. The whole system is the same. It just means one is electronic and the other is physical. Okay.
Probably how cheap the online storage is compared to a hard drive that I have bought in the past.
How much did your hard drive cost you?
About $100.
Yeah, whereas that's 4 years of the same space that you can have.
Yeah, yeah.
Standing. Yep, yep. Okay, Megan.
Okay, I found today pretty confusing, but I have to work out the program Ed for if I die so people can access what they need to. And I also have to work out how to get back into my MyGov account because I've just ignored that when I forgot my password, which obviously isn't good.
Yeah, I'm really glad that you actually said that about Ed because I wrote that program knowing that there are issues. And I hate seeing people lose information. And people lost their houses. They have lost all of their files. Some people have lost the deeds to their houses. So that's why we wrote Ed. or I wrote Ed. And, you know, it is a good program. So if you want to follow up on that, let me know. But it is something that is all stored like this. And you can keep all of your photos safe. You can keep all of the information, your kids' birth certificates, everything, all in one place that is with you at a touch of a button.
Yeah, I think I'm going to need that. I'm on my own, so I don't have a spouse to know where all that stuff is.
Yeah. Yeah. The biggest issue we see is when we're teaching the older generation is that they'll have an email address and their partner will pass away. And the partner's been a tech savvy one, so they've lost access to all the bank accounts, to the email addresses, to all of the devices in the house. So it can be quite scary. I saw that. Yeah. So the tech savvy one and the not tech savvy one. All right. So I'm going to end this video here. Have any last questions?
No, I'm all right.
All right. Great. So I'll just